I have to admit to always feeling a little sense of being out of it, beyond the pale, outside of the norm. Because this insistence in our society that this just do it, this idea that you have to make it happen. Even my old Star Trek, the commander to the second officer, make it so. Number one, Captain Picard, make it so. It's if we only progress through our manifestations of effort. If it looks like we're doing something, what are you doing to make it happen? And my work was always internal. Maybe I'm laying on the bed, sitting in the chair, swimming, walking, and internally, my dialogue, my creativity, my vision is all contained within myself. I don't manifest it so that the outside world can see my efforts. All I've ever wanted is the fruits of my efforts to be observable, to be manifested. So, and I was also torn with the idea that didn't seem very mainstream, widespread, was that the universe provides. And most of what my society values is those guys that pull yourself up by your own bootstraps through your efforts, and people only can see efforts that are external efforts, through your will. Make it so. And I can't help but feeling outside judgment of many that are close to me, but think in a whole different world. It's like we're from a different dimension. No one can see the effort that's contained within, but I always felt that this was the only effort worth pursuing. So people would say, if you want something, you have to go get it. You have to do it. You have to get it. And I would just smile and nod and basically ignore. Because really this kind of advice had zero impact, zero value, and even less interest on my part to follow this parade of misunderstanding at best, ignorance at worst, in my humble opinion, the way that I saw things, the way that I experienced life. And it was very early that I began to appreciate what I've labeled today as sharing, the beauty of aimlessness. And all you have to do is sit by a river, which I love to do because I love water. I love returning to the Mother Ocean. We talk about Mother Earth, but really the mother is the ocean, the mother of life. The earth is the mother of possibilities, while the ocean is where life began, where it was sustained, where it was nurtured. And there's a reason that the success of this blue marble lies within its fact that 70% of the surface is covered in water. So you watch a stream. It seems aimless in the eyes of the uninitiated. It seems aimless in the eyes of those that aren't able or willing or interested in looking deeper to understand the mechanics of things. I love emulating the river and drifting through life aimlessly. Aimlessly only in the eyes of the uninformed. The river always has a purpose, whether it's meandering or raging. The river moves water from one place, from its origin to its destination, from the mountaintops, the rain clouds, through the valleys, to completion, returning home to the Mother Ocean. This is the aim within the apparent aimlessness. And I've learned from a very young age that this is the way that I choose to live my life. All that effort and the effort to accumulate, to attain, to possess, whether it's power, money, possessions, prestige, prominence, popularity, seemed ludicrous, was just not interesting. I was always interested in the deeper mechanics of things, how things work. Tenfold law of abundance fascinated me, and it's achieved. Abundance is achieved by giving, by silently giving, by anonymously giving of that which you want in abundance, be it respect, be it love, be it health, be it wisdom. These things you give freely of yourself and from yourself, without expectations. The abandonment of goals. All you have to do is look around, and the people who have achieved the most, interestingly, have the most to lose. The more you have, the more threat that you have that surely someone else will covet by any means necessary what you do have. The things that you so-called manifested in the physical world, which is illusion. Bottom line, it's all illusion. But those people who have gained the most in a material power, monetary, are the most fearful because they can lose it all. It takes a constant effort. You notice rich people keep building higher fences, and the bad guys get more sophisticated at getting into, getting under, getting over. Now on the line, getting through your firewalls, your defenses. Because these material accomplishments, material accumulations are coveted by those that are not willing to put in the hard work that perhaps you did. But I've learned the secret of life is that all good things come easily. Whenever I meet with obstacles, whenever I have an idea that's immediately blocked by most time at least apparent insurmountable obstacles, my immediate response is not to buckle down, work harder, which is I'm taught, I've been taught by my society, because this is what they value. Through your obvious, through your demonstrated, through your visible actions, the world judges you. He made that happen against all odds. The myth of the underdog. But for every underdog, there's an overdog waiting to bite his underdog's head off. And people themselves, they put someone on a pedestal only to tear it down. So what kind of, how can these be accomplishments when they can be so easily interfered with by others, denied, stolen, misinterpreted, misconstrued, misunderstood, misdirected? It's simple. If you look at happiness and you base your happiness on what you have, who you have, who you think you have, what you think you have, anything that can be taken from you is obviously not yours. But peace of mind, equanimity, grace, balance, as long as these are internal, they are by right, by definition, by trial of fire, eternal. Internal is the breeding grounds, is the soil to plant the seed of eternity. That which is truly yours is that which lasts, and most importantly, cannot be taken away from you by anyone. It's too common to hear people say, well, I'll be happy when I get this. I'll be happy when I get a bigger house. I'll be happy when I get a prettier wife. I'll be happier when I get more education. I'll be happier when I get more power, more money, more possessions, a bigger collection of toys. So to go back, viewed from the outside, the man that is, or woman that is strong enough, that's wise enough to internalize, to do their work unobserved, other than by themselves. These are the ones to emulate. These are the ones that understand the secret of internalization and eternalization. All that is eternal grew from internal work. Unobserved, unappreciated, underappreciated for sure. That's why we got words like lucky. Some of these people, when things do that come from this internalization with no desire, no need of externalization, more a relationship to the long-lasting, to internalization. But it's inevitable. The fruits, just as one plants a seed and no one knows it's there until it breaks the ground, so too are the fruits of planting seeds internally, because they will become externally manifested in the natural order of things, effortlessly, aimlessly, or so it would seem to those that lack an appreciation or an understanding of the lasting source of life, the lasting source of things. This aimlessness, without goal, without apparently, to the untrained eye, apparently without an end game, without a goal, without even the steps necessary to reach a goal. The untrained eye, the undisciplined eye, the unexperienced eye, the ignorant eye most times, fails to grasp the beauty of internalization, where things truly begin. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention here that inside and outside are one and the same. But even though we live in the non-dual world where there's only one reality, there's oneness, there's an absence of separation and division, we still exist in the Maya of duality. So, in the Maya of duality, indeed, there's inner and the outer. And we're put in this body to live in this world of apparent duality. So that we can really appreciate, after feeling separate, after feeling alone, it's then that by awakening, by remembering the forgotten, that we can really appreciate the oneness, the wholeness, the unity. Where we embrace the oneness, where we find fullness. This is the fullness in the emptiness, in the truth of emptiness. This is the fullness. Empty contains. Emptiness is the vessel that holds fullness, just as our cup holds our tea, or in my case, my cup holds my coffee. My body holds my soul, my spirit. My body holds my dreams. My body allows me to internalize and do the work that I need to do to be liberated from the Maya, from the ego. So true duality, the road through duality leads to non-duality. The understanding of emptiness allows understanding of fullness. Understanding, presenting aimlessness to the world around you allows you to reside in anonymity. It celebrates your normalness. I have absolutely no desire to be special, nor should you. Look at him, look at her. Fame, wealth, possessions, houses, cars. You still die alone. So it's the quality of life that you have while you're blessed with life. Understanding and appreciating the gift of life leads to the abandonment of fear, which leads to the acceptance of the reality of that there is no being, there is no non-being. There's only now. It's all we have. And it's more than we can handle, quite frankly. Most people are not, they take for granted, they get bored. Boredom is a consequence of an unordered mind, an undisciplined, a misunderstanding. We live in an age where we must be constantly busy. But it's in the quiet time. It's in the apparent aimlessness of the river as it makes its way to from its source to its destination, to its home. So I cultivate, I emulate that beautiful aimlessness of nature, the true nature of the world that we occupy temporarily, knowing, embracing, celebrating that this aimlessness, this apparent aimlessness, has a purpose. And along the way, I mentioned, and I'm going to mention again because I was talking to Jim, my brother, about having this experience of tubing, riding a big inner tube down a meandering river. And with the understanding that all the activity, all the lives, all the suffering, all the happiness, all the accumulation, all the lack thereof, everything, as I meandered down this winding, gentle stream, favorite beverage, coffee again, coffee in hand, looking out without attachment to all my past lifetimes, tens and thousands, without identification, without judgment, without sympathy, simply watched my past lives. I wasn't vested in them. I was nominally interested in them because it was entertainment. Oh, 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 oh. And what I saw is that all this accumulation, all this experience, all this opportunity to gain wisdom and knowledge and understanding was leading to where I am sitting in front of you, enjoying the moment. So that's why I celebrate aimlessness. We always talk about that other dichotomy, or I always think about it, order and chaos. Yes, the universe is chaos. And yes, equally yes, the world is organized from the most micro to the largest macro. There's order. And the total chaos not exists side by side with order. That would pull you apart. It would galvanize you towards one way or the other. Destiny, free will. Only when you encompass, only when you hug, only when you embrace these opposites do you understand that they're one and the same. And it's only the illusion, it's only your ignorance. So what seems like aimlessness when I'm observed from the outside, the perceptions of all those around are of little import. They don't make an impact on how I behave, what I embrace. They don't make an impact on who I am. And going back to a second, when I was floating down this tube, this river, meandering down the stream with my cup of coffee, my endless cup of coffee, without ever getting overstimulated. What I took away from this experience is that there was a tremendous amount of work to get from there to here. And this is the beauty of aimlessness. The universe knows where you're going. And that's enough. That's more than enough. So, who cares what the perception of those that have chosen to be the other, instead of, and they're just waiting till they have their understanding of their togetherness, their unity. They're just waiting. The Buddha seed is within each and every one of us. And just as you plant a kernel of corn and you wait for the plant to break the surface, to grow, to flower, to fruit, so too will the seed of Buddha within each of us be fertilized, cultivated, begin to show itself as it penetrates that which was it's planted in other cases planted in our body, as it begins to show itself from our body, with the promise that it will grow tall, it will grow strong, it will flower and fruit. So within this understanding lies the beauty of aimlessness. Inner cultivation will assure outer reflection of the Buddha that we truly are. So it's the work, internal work, the eternal, internal to the eternal work is important.